Hey. I'm Patricia.
And I am Latanya, and welcome to Black Mom's Diary.
Welcome. Yes. Hey. We're live today. How are y'all doing? Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. We are live today at what? I just forget the name of the place.
3406 Social.
3406 Social. And if you are in the area, please make sure you come check this place out. It is beautiful,
Yeah.
and the customer service here is on 120. It is amazing, and you will love it. I'm just telling you. So I'm doing amazing today. What about you?
I'm good. I'm awesome. I'm here. I was telling Latanya earlier that I had a dream about being here last night, and it was kind of a weird dream. I don't know. Should I go into it?
Share your dream.
So I was dreaming that I showed up. Latanya was doing some last minute shopping, and I kept thinking to myself, where is she? I had my daughter with me, and my mom was here, and she was sleeping in a bed. And I was like, are people going to feel weird about my mom sleeping in a bed while we're doing a live podcast?
She was sleeping here.
She was sleeping here in
Yeah, that was
bed.
weird.
Yeah.
That was.
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, that was maybe any dream interpreters
Yes,
in
that
here.
was fantastic.
Nah.
No?
No.
We'll look it up.
Look it up, please. Somebody's sleeping in the middle.
Well, we hadn't started yet, but
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she was just getting her rest.
Maybe. Well, she was just that comfortable because we're just comfortable people.
Okay, yeah.
There it is, dear. There it is, right there. It has been.
I don't know what it is, but
Well, today's show. How was your week? I don't want to start off. We have to be. We have to be nice to each other now that we're on camera.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
did y'all expect us to look like this? I mean, I guess we have pictures of
We do,
ourselves.
we do.
We have videos and stuff.
We love on each other so much behind
Yeah.
camera. It's like, hey, you're really here.
Yeah.
We're together. So
We
how was your
are.
week?
My week has been good. It was kind of a long week, so yeah. But I feel like everything I did to try to get to this moment, lots of things tried to stop me. So I'm just happy to be here because the morning was long, the week was long, but I am here and I'm so happy to be here.
That is great.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in gratitude right now too.
Same.
Very much so. But we did take down our Christmas tree this week.
Okay. All right. So that's
That-
progress.
It is, but I really wanted it to stay up.
So how?
I mean, because don't you just like the way, okay, picture this. You put the Christmas tree up, it only stays up for what, a month and a couple of weeks? Maybe, well, mine is 3 months.
Yeah.
But it looks so nice. At night when you walk through the house and you turn off all the lights and it's just, it's just there. And I was very sad. Oh man, I was very sad to take it down with my children. They helped me take it down and we cleaned up everything. And that was this week. We organized without the Christmas tree in the living room.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. So the space feels different because the tree is gone.
Right, but I did get my favorite chair to where I like to meditate and watch everybody's business in the neighborhood right there by the window.
You're one of those people.
I'm one of those people.
You're watching the neighborhood.
I'm watching
what's going on.
I'm like, don't you like a window in front of your house? Do y'all notice they're building houses these days without windows in front of them? Like when I grew up, you get to see who walks up to your house, who's everything. Like I grew up like that. So it's really weird to see a wall in front of your house and then you open the door, you didn't even get to see the person approach your house. I don't know. Is that a me thing?
I think it's a you thing. I see windows.
You don't have windows in front of your house?
Okay. Well, I don't know what you're talking about then, so.
That's what I'm saying. When the first time you see me come up to your house, you're looking through this little peephole.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
enough.
I just like seeing who comes up. And then when my children go outside to play, I like to check on them. I don't want to have to open the door all the way up and then look out the door,
Yeah.
So I like the window in front of the house. So.
You talking about the window right to the next, like right next to the door, like on the left or the right?
Wherever it is, I just want to see outside. I want to see
Yeah.
who's driving up to the house.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I have my little
Yes.
table and stuff there, my little plants and things like that. So that's what we did this week. Home, we're on break from homeschooling,
That's nice.
kind of sort of. Yeah.
So y'all started spring break early then?
This is our spring break now, and then next week is our spring break.
Okay.
So we have 2 weeks,
That's nice.
and then we go back to our co-op.
So what do y'all do when y'all have time off? Because y'all are always together, y'all are at home doing school, or y'all go different places, but what are y'all doing when y'all are not doing homeschool?
Get on each other's nerves.
And does that not happen during school?
No, because we're always moving, we're always in the car, we're always driving, but we are in such a close quarter. So I moved my desk with my son, and they like to sing, they like to dance, they like to do all these things all day long. Like there's no chill with my 2 boys. Like my daughter, she's 13, so she has her own space. She knows how to manage herself.
Yeah.
But my sons are just, they always want to eat. And it's like, is there any way possible that y'all could just be quiet for like 5 minutes? And then you're here, ooh, choo, 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 choo. I mean, and I love them, but I'm like, we don't have nowhere to go today. And then they built a park around the street, so I do let them walk around the corner.
Okay.
And moms, y'all let me know, when do you trust your children to go to the neighborhood park alone?
My daughter, she goes by herself. She takes a dog, actually, but she's 15.
Okay. So 15 was the first time that you let her go out to the neighborhood park?
Yes, right. It's literally right down the street.
Okay, it's down the street. Anybody else? What? Anybody?
Earlier, I want to say 10 or 11.
10 or 11? Was it the only child or did?
It's only child.
Only child?
I know all the neighbors.
Mm-hmm. She knows all the neighbors.
Be very close by, but I think I would let them, since the park's not too far.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I told another mom that I let my children, so they're 13, 11, and 8, and there's a sidewalk. So I said, stay on the sidewalk, you guys go to the park. And she told me, I can't believe that you would let your children go out by themselves. And I'm like, what's gonna happen? I'm just like, we used to go 17 miles by ourselves. I was a 12-year-old with 3 other children with me, so the times are not the same. So yeah, times are not the same, but I would like for them to learn like awareness, like around them. Not like, we don't live in a part of the neighborhood where you gotta watch out. You know what I'm saying? And then if anything was like that, hopefully we would know about it. But I just think it gives them a sense of, well, my daughter is accountable for all, the boys, but also accountable for herself. And I feel like that's something that you should learn at an early age. Because you ever went somewhere with somebody who never did anything and they walk in the middle of the street?
There's a lot of head nods, so.
Also, when they start riding the school bus home and getting off the bus and walking home, that's a part of their independence.
Riding the school bus and walking home is a part of their independence. But we don't have that as a homeschool family. So there are some things that I think about it, but I'm like, go ahead. Go around the corner. I could jump the fence if I hear y'all yell.
The code word, did they have a code word?
They do not. I need one.
They need a code word. Yeah.
Run is not?
No, you need
when
like
we were young, it was run.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you need something that's a little bit more unique to your family, so that y'all know, so that when you hear that word, okay, I gotta jump the fence so I can go get my babies, right?
Okay.
And I will say that I am a lot less like that. I'm gonna own it. I'm a helicopter mom. And I've backed off a lot in the last couple of years, but I just now started letting my kids go to the bathroom in public by themselves. And my son, orange belt in Taekwondo. Y'all go ahead and laugh. I told you I'm gonna own it. This is me. But yeah, my son has an orange belt in Taekwondo, and when I first started letting him go, I would just say, okay, if anybody's in the bathroom, if anybody messes with you, kick him in the jewels. And I was like, tell him, leave me alone. And so he knows now. I don't even have to say anything to him. And I just recently started letting my daughter, whenever we take our son to Taekwondo, go to the bathroom. And so that's been like a couple months. But with her, I mean, you know, women don't have jewels, so I'm just like, chop them in the throat, you know?
That baby.
I mean,
She
she's
gonna
pretty
jump
strong.
out the wall
She's pretty strong.
and hit that throat.
She's a gymnast. I mean, she's pretty
Well,
sprightly. So, but I will admit, and she gets really frustrated with me because I'll let her go, and then I'll follow her.
Well, I go with my 13-year-old. I can't say that. If we're somewhere and it's a controlled, so Taekwondo is a controlled environment. So if we're well, you know, it's not like at the mall and I'm in Victoria's Secret and I can see the bathroom, and I don't know why I chose that store, but I should have said Bed Bath and Beyond. Well, they're closing down. Bath and Body Works, yes. Okay, so and I see the bathroom and I'm like, yeah, go right over there to the bathroom. No, even my 13-year-old, I'm like, I can't. You're gonna have to wait, and I will go together. You know, but I do send all three of them. Whenever we're out, I send all three of them together. And I say, you wait. If you don't see that your brother come out, then you go knock on the door.
Yeah.
If it's her. But my 11-year-old is pretty responsible for my 8-year-old, but same vice versa for that. But we're talking about mom trends today. Some things that we see out there, and that's one of them, freedom. A lot of people are asking, how much freedom should they give their child and at what age? So what do you think about that?
Freedom. You want me to take it?
Oh, yes.
So, like I said, I'm a little bit of a helicopter mom, and I will own it. I'm working on backing off a lot. But and I know I probably shouldn't think like this, but I just feel like if something happens that I can't take back, then I'm responsible for these little people. We talk about a lot of things. I will say that the things that I talk, it was like a thing.
People saying yes. They
Yes.
agree.
Okay. Yes. All right. My aunt speaking from the other side.
There it is.
No. So we talk about a lot of things. The things that my kids and I talk about, my aunt never, ever. It was when I was growing up. It was like there were things that adults talked about, even in front of kids, and if we interjected, we would get shut down real quick. And my kids ask a lot of questions, and we're okay with that. And I mean, we have our limits, so there are some things I'm like, look, your dad and I are talking, stay in your lane. But if they ask questions for some things, we answer it. As far as freedom goes, so, you know, I say all that because I'm giving them a little bit more freedom. You know, I still pick their clothes out. But if I get something that they're like, I don't want to wear that, I'm fine with that. You know, you pick your stuff. I think it's just easier. It just makes the day go faster. But if they are 100% against wearing something that I picked out, I'm not going to argue. I know how to choose my battles. So in that way, I mean, I'm giving them a little bit of freedom. And I feel like they will let me know when they're ready for more. That makes sense.
And your oldest is 8. Will he be 9?
He's 9.
He's 9? Oh, that's right.
He turned 9 last year.
Yes.
At the end of December. So yeah, he just turned 9 a few months ago, and my daughter just turned 9 at the end of last year. So she's she's turned 7. I think it's 9. She's turned 7 at the end of last year. So they're pretty early in this new age. But I mean, you know, they tell me. They tell me. And I mean, a lot of what I do, it's learned behavior. So I don't know if y'all feel like that, but I've been spending a lot of my time unlearning that. So I didn't have a lot of freedom. very chill mate. So if I'm doing too much, she's not afraid to tell me you're doing too much. You know. So that's me.
Well, I'm gonna go with a different angle. So my daughter's 13, and I am going to tell her. One of the things that I saw is she'll be on her computer, and I walk in the room, and she closes the computer. And I'm like, so what you doing? Oh, nothing. So why wasn't the computer closed when I walked in the room? Why did you close it when I walked in, you know, when I came in here? It was just a reflex. A reflex to close your computer? Like, well, what does that mean? You know, so I was talking to my husband, and he was like, well, we're gonna have to just put like a system on there so that we know what she's doing. And he did that, and we found a Twitter account that she had. So the rule in our house is no social media that you can talk to people, because so it's a certain type of naivety that she has because she doesn't go to school. You know, I feel like it because we feed our children what we want them to know, and then everybody around us does the same thing, right? So sometimes I feel like it's a disservice, but most of the time I'm really happy with what we do, because we knew how fast we got information, and now you can just get it even faster now. And it's like, it is addictive. So we asked her why you did that, and she said, because you won't let me talk to people online. And so we had to take her through this thing to show her why you don't talk to people online, because everybody's not who they say they are, and because you don't have that discernment, because you just want to talk. You know, we have to protect you. So again, I do talk to a lot of people about that. My daughter doesn't even have a phone. She doesn't. And we have an emergency phone, but that's because I know my child. You know, I know that she will stay up all night long on her cell phone, and when she can show us that she has that, like, you can't teach that to me. Like, you can't teach, like, showing someone when enough is enough. And when you take it from it, it just makes them want more. So that's what I think. So when you show them, we talk about this all the time, experience is the best teacher. If I show you how this is going to affect your life, then you will make a better choice. So that's how I look at this whole situation. So now she cannot do any type of social media. She has a YouTube channel. She has not been able to do that. And that was because of the consequence that you did that, not us. You did this. So that's a big one, because most of her friends have phones and they're all in these chats. Sometimes I feel a little, like, man. But then again, I know my child. You know, so I don't know. What do you guys think about that freedom bit? If you have any older children. Yeah. Well, you have an older child. Tell us what you think.
I mean, well, my daughter is 15. She doesn't have social media, though. I mean, she has a phone. The only reason why I don't want her to have social media is because I feel like it's very harsh. And I feel like when you're in high school and you're trying to learn who you are, I think sometimes social media can try to put in your head, this is who you are, this is who we need you or want you to be in order for you to do anything. So I want her to figure out that on her own without any outside influences. So, but no social media, and she's fine with that. I mean, she has a phone, but half the time she doesn't even answer it. So, I mean, that's good and that's bad, but that's where I'm at with it. But she has good freedom. I mean, she goes hang out with her friends. Because where we live at, we live right in the city. So they walk around, go to the shops and stuff. It's just, I tell them, look, as long as I can track her to where she's at, I'm fine. And if she answers when I call, Yeah, but that's more food than I have.
That's right.
So I'm gonna ask you this: do you have a tracker on your daughter? Because there's trackers on phones. So she has a phone. Does you have a tracker?
Yes. So it's just share the location, just like, I know this sounds crazy, like we have each other's locations at all times.
You know,
So it's
it's
just
crazy.
like, she knows where I'm at, I know where she's at. I mean, I know some people are like, I'm not trying to know, I know where you at. I mean, it's just me and her. So it's
Right.
like, if, you know, anything happened, no one could reach me, I mean, she would know where I'm at. And like, I would know where she's at, so
Yeah.
that's just how it is.
Good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm totally opposite. I have a 13-year-old, and he has a lot more freedom. He does have all social media. We talk a lot. I do look at his phone and go through it and check messages. But for me, and he's even had girlfriends, and I'm really involved in it. But it's because my view of it is my job is to protect you or get you to be an adult. And during this time, you're going to make all kinds of mistakes. And I want you to be involved in it. And I'm going to, the biggest honor for me is when he tells me, and I know all the gossip. I know all about his friends at school. I know the girlfriend really well. I don't know. He has a lot more access to the world, more than I would like. He does.
How does that make you feel? Because I'm hearing that, and part of me feels like, oh, teach me your ways, you know? But then also another part of me feels like,
Yeah.
you know?
When you said he had a girlfriend, I'm like, ooh, Lord, where's my taser? See, I have two boys, and because they're little, you know, they're younger, and I'm not even in that headspace yet. My daughter, I cannot. Her dad, no, I can't even. Her 13, she'll be 14 coming up. I don't see that happening, you know. So how are you with that? Like,
I think my view on parenting is more of, I want you to be able to be honest and truthful with me. And so if you're going to do it, I want to know about it. And that's a whole change of my mindset. So it's not how I've always been. But watching him make mistakes, I guess in the process of getting so angry, I'm like, wait a second. I want not to react to things. I try to just hear him, because we've been through a lot together. It's just me and him, right? So we've been through a lot, and so when he makes mistakes, it draws us closer. Right? That's the time where I dig deep, I pray, we in it together. So I'm not really as fearful as I used to be, because overall he's a good human.
He's
Right?
good,
He makes
yeah.
mistakes, but he's not,
yeah, and you know your child.
yeah.
Yeah, you know that he's ready for those decisions that he's making. You know, he's not saying, Mom, I'm gonna go drive this car, and he's not ready to drive a car yet. So you think that he's ready for a relationship? And
Well, he's had a bad relationship
Yeah.
now, let me tell you. The first girl, I got a white girl. It was not a good thing, but it was a learning moment for him. And he said, and we can even talk about, now that was a toxic relationship. Now you know the difference between what feels good and what feels doesn't. He was like, yeah, you know, this new girlfriend, she makes straight A's, and she's like an athlete, and she's different than the first one. And if I didn't get to that first one, he wouldn't know what it looked or felt like.
Right.
that's deep what you just said though. Like you at 13 or 12, whatever it was, you know what a toxic relationship feels like. Because there's adults that don't know what toxic relationship, right? I had to figure that out in my almost 30s. Like, wait a minute, this is affecting me in a way. That is, now you're giving me a different perspective on it that I did not have. Like, he's in a place where he can like not fail softly, but kind of sorta. Like, you know, there's a pillow there. I'm not losing my apartment behind this girl. I'm not losing my job behind this girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm not dropping out of school behind this girl or anything like that. So
I was like, what happens when y'all break up? Are you gonna be real like? I want to see because it's gonna happen. We'll be together forever. But like, will I be on that journey with him? You see, I was like, because I'm all involved in it, I know it. Yeah, it's an interesting way, and I totally understand not allowing that. Anyway.
that's good. Anybody else want to share?
Hi. Okay. I have a 7 and a 5-year-old.
Okay.
So freedom for me means like I want them to be independent when they become adults, right?
Yeah.
So whatever they're learning right now, because what I'm teaching them, I want them to be able to, be able to speak that back to me, and then that's when I'm going to feel comfortable enough for them to be able to do whatever they have to do. So I'm not here, like, they're their own people. They're not me. They're not their dad. They're their own person. And as long as I can give them the skills and the knowledge right now, so then they can show me as they age that they have learned those lessons. Because for instance, my son, he's learning how to ride his bike. He just learned how to ride his bike. So he wanted to take his bike around the neighborhood.
Okay.
And we live just in a one way in, one way out neighborhood. Take it around. Don't get hit by a car, and don't stop to talk to anybody. I'm outside, I'm waiting. So he had to learn because he almost got hit by a car, right? And I said, what did I tell you? But he had to learn that. So literally now, he is looking at both ways each time because I got into his bus so bad that, he was pretty much scared to, okay, wait, now I'm looking both ways, sideways, up and down, whatever. I'm not going to ride in front of the car. But I could not be scared for him. I'm scared, but he needs to feel that scaredness too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, look,
Man,
this
that's
is dangerous,
interesting.
but you have to go through this so you know not to do it again when I'm not right down the street or, a couple of houses down. So like when y'all were talking about going to the park by yourself, they're too young right now. I mean, they don't need to be going to the park by themselves, no way. Why can't I go to the park with you? I mean, parks are fun.
Go there and chill.
Yeah, just go there and chill because there will be time when they do not want me around.
Yes.
And that is just fine.
Right.
I didn't want my parents around when I was kicking out with my friends, So what makes it different for them? And I just want them to be responsible enough to not make bad choices. And if they do make those choices, to be able to tell me that they made those choices because they're opening up and they don't fear what I'm going to say to them, and they know that I'm letting that road go, little by little. Don't just be free all day long, but one day you will be.
Right.
I'm trying to go up too fast.
That's good. That's good.
So that's how I think about it.
I like how you said you wanted him to feel afraid, and not it's just you like, okay, because I would have took them wheels off that bike. That they, I'm like, you are not going out again, okay? But I like that because I'm so glad nothing happened. And in the old neighborhood that we were in, we had this little turtle that told people to slow down. But there were people who act like they didn't see it, right? And so I would tell them all the time, if they don't slow down, you gotta look. Like if you don't see them breaking speed, you need to get to the side of the street and just, and then they would tell me, Mom, this guy just almost hit our turtle and that scared us. And that was interesting what you said. So now you know how that feels. Like I don't want you to feel fearful, but I want you
to be afraid.
You
To
want to be
never
afraid.
want to ride this bike in front of a car again.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Like,
well, yes,
He doesn't
right.
make that mistake.
You're right, but not so scared that it takes away your awareness.
Ride the bike.
Just
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want him because he loves riding his bike now. He just learned. Okay, you guys, so he's got the wind in his hair, just running,
Yeah.
around and going in circles, right?
He's feeling the freedom.
He's feeling the freedom, and I don't want him to be scared to give up that freedom of riding your bike because I know the day's gonna come and he's gonna say, "Hey, can I ride my bike to the park? Are you gonna get hit by a car?"
locked up that you don't know what to do. But I've seen my son drag him and the bike. Really short story. There was this lady, she had a dog down the street, and so the dog came out of the fence when he was riding his bike. My son jumps off the bike and starts running. And I'm like, somebody scared you off your bike? Why didn't you start riding faster?
And it's funny you say that, because that's exactly what I told my son. I said, if you see a dog start chasing you, you better ride like you've never run before.
Right.
Ride. Stay on the bike.
Yeah, nah. Brother jumped off that bike and turned into a track star. I was like, he was gone. But yeah, that's really interesting about the freedom aspect of how there's another, like when I saw something else, when your child becomes a teenager, is that parents let them have their own apartment right next to them. Well, so 15, I think it's like 15, 16, and 17, where I'm like, first of all, where we get this money from? That's what I'm asking. But they make the sacrifice as if they're going to, this is their philosophy, if they're going to college, we want you to live in the apartment right next to us to see how you can handle your own space.
Okay. So it's attached to their house then?
No, I live in apartment A, you live on 217
gotcha.
right here. Like, they're like, this is like people, I haven't heard it in houses, because I wanted to do a tiny house for my children when they get older in my backyard, but I wasn't thinking 15, 16. I'm thinking more like maybe 17 and a half to 18 and up, but not, that's a little too young for me.
Yeah.
Because, that's just too, and I'm not talking about, I'm worried about habits that will form, not so much as all the things that you would invite into the house. So I don't know, what do you think about that?
Well, I will say that when I moved to Austin, the first time I lived all the way out in Cedar Park, and I was across from this high school, and some of the high school students had apartments. They had roommates, other high school students that were roommates, and then they had other ones that just lived by themselves. I thought that was really interesting because, like I said, I was raised with my aunt's thumb on my head, and so the idea of living by myself in high school, I can't even fathom that. I also thought it was pretty cool though that they had the independence and their parents trusted them enough. I mean, they lived right across the street from the high school, but living right across the street from the high school as a high school student with roommates or by yourself, you don't always get to school. You might not, even if it's right across from you. Can I see myself doing that for my kids? Maybe. My son, probably. If it was, we would have to move into one of those mother-in-law houses.
Oh,
So,
like a casita?
no,
maybe?
not a casita,
Okay.
because that's like a little house, but a house with a mother-in-law plan.
Oh, it's still
You have
connected
your
on the
own-
inside.
Yeah, you have the
Okay.
big house, and then there's like a little apartment or efficiency type place connected to it. So I could probably trust him with that. I don't know about my daughter. Maybe, maybe she'll show me something different. And I mean, she's younger right
Yeah.
now, so she.
My daughter changed from 6 to 13.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're gonna see.
But I'll see. I have faith in her. I mean, she's broken like 3 tablets, like back to back, and the things that were given to her, and she doesn't like cleaning her room, like that type of stuff, or she wants somebody to do it with her. Whereas my son, he was 3, cleaning his room. We would have to tell him, but he would do it, and he would do it really well. So I don't know if that's like a firstborn trait or what, but yeah, she's gonna have to show me a little bit more.
Well, it's
in
not a
order to
firstborn
get
trait in
apartment.
our house.
It's a personality trait.
No, she ain't. She's the firstborn, but no. I do know my sons are neater than my daughter.
Okay.
I will say that. My daughter has this like carefree attitude. It's just, her, when she's a swimmer and I open her door, it smells like the pool in her room. And I'm like, ma'am, what's going on? Oh, I just put my parka on the floor. So your parka is wet. And she was like, yeah, it's on the floor. Like, and she's like not even thinking about it. So then I go to my son's room and I'm like, where's your cleats? Oh, I put them out in the garage, Mom, because I didn't want my room to smell funny. And I'm like, you know, what did I fail with the daughter, you know? But I don't know why. It's just my son, my husband will tell you he was way neater than his sisters. So I don't know. Was I neat? I don't even remember. We didn't have the room to not be neat. Let me say that. We would have somebody telling us every time something fell on the floor. We couldn't eat in our rooms. We couldn't do any of that. It didn't come out the kitchen.
Yeah.
We didn't fix our plates. It's like I'm thinking about like my kids just started fixing their plates. And I let my 8-year-old, I mean, food is everywhere, but then I also want him to know how much, because as soon as we started fixing our plate, it was like, you know, we couldn't even carry it. The whole thing was falling out. But then they know how much they can eat now, you know. So just saying if I left them on their own at a certain age, again, I'll say it again, you know your child. I will not do that at 15.
I feel like my kids would snack all day.
Do your kids have chores?
Yes, they do. They have chores and they have the green light card where they get paid for their chores. And they always go check their money. Like, I made $1 today, Mom, because I did this and I did that, right? But it still doesn't stop these in between. So they have calculated that Wednesday is my day to clean the bathroom, but Monday and Tuesday, we're not picking up anything. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm like, so what? If you picked it up on Monday, we're here all the time, that's our problem. Because we're in the house all the time, right? So all the time, everything needs to be up. Everything, we have to stay on top of it. You don't just clean the bathroom on Wednesday, and that's it. And we're here. There's no school. There's nowhere else for you to go. So that's why we have that problem. And it's tough when you school and do all that in one space.
Yeah.
If anybody can help me with that, call. No. She can help me. Can you help me with that? You can talk under a microphone.
I really think, I'm not a mom yet, but I always envision what I would act like as a mother, because I know the things that maybe I didn't get a chance to express growing up, and because where I come from, it's, you know, you respect your elders, which I had no problem doing, and then also I think with structure, I was a child, I had plenty of love, but I also had discipline, especially when it was necessary. So my mom, with chores, I'm a third of 3, so I'm the baby, and I taught my sister how to turn on the washing machine, because that was a lesson that I learned, you know, I paid attention to. She was more of like the hypochondriac, and it's funny now because she's a nurse. But I was the one who was consoling her when she would see blood. I would, you know, say, hey, calm down, you're okay, look, you know, and I would go get either peroxide or alcohol or whatever was needed to, you know, patch her wounds, put a Band-Aid on it, you know what I'm saying? As far as traits with the children, my brother is the oldest, or was the oldest, and he was neat. It skipped my sister for whatever reason. We shared a room, and my mom would think that it was the both of us girls who were the messy ones, but I used to try to tell her, no, Mom, it's not me. It's, you know, my sister. So after a few years, my mom began to see that it really was my sister who was the not so neat one, and I was the one who was attempting to, you know, push her along to say, hey, can you clean up? And my mom instituted this calendar, which she stuck on the pantry door in the refrigerator, in the kitchen, and for a whole week you were were assigned a chore. So let's say dishes, you had to clean the kitchen and do the dishes. So everyone was fine except for my sister, because she was always the one who wanted to buck the system. And you know, it comes time, we know mom's clocking off, we know about how long it takes for her to get home. We had a schedule where we got out of school, we were told to go straight into the house, don't let anyone in. You sit down, you eat your dinner, because my mom would cook and leave it out with a note on the stove, what we were to do, and we would do our homework, and then we were told, you know, to clean up. So that was a pattern that was established in our house, and we stuck to it because we knew, yes, we feared God, but we feared our our mom,
Yeah.
and we lived next door to our dad's mom. So we had people, you know, constantly not in our house watching us, but if we knew something was needed, we could go call our grandma or go skip next door to grandma's house and, you know, get something that we may have needed. But it's all about, I think, starting with structure. You know, some parents, yeah, it's okay to be happy and friendly and, you know, having fun with your children. That's great. But I think you see, like, in some more affluent households, children are just as, like, wild and crazy as maybe somebody who lived in maybe a poor neighborhood, you know? So it's I think it's all about the child or the children needing and desiring attention, love, and discipline. And you have to learn how to balance all of it.
And see, that would make sense because that is not me. I do not, and I'm very honest, my husband is the disciplined one. He's the one that set up the system, and I pretty much am like, okay, look guys, when I get up to here, then it's like everybody dies, you know, because I'm just, you know, because I'm up to here, but they know, like when my husband comes home, I hear, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Oh, Dad's home. Room clean, all types of stuff is done. But my husband is a firefighter, so he's gone, like he's been gone for 2 nights now. They just be, yeah, ooh. And they tell me all the time, Mom, we love it when it's just you.
But they know they need to be to a certain degree.
Well, they know Mom be tired half the time because, you know, we do a lot of stuff at home, right? But we have established that, he has established it, and I have been supporting in that. But I am just not the most, I am not. Now, growing up, my sister's here, our room was never one of those rooms where you open the door and there was stuff everywhere. Now, the closet, that's a different thing. So I'm not used to clothes being everywhere. I don't like clutter to this day. The only thing that bothers me about them is the clutter. Not that it is not organized. Isn't that crazy? That's not that it's not organized. Then that bothers my husband that it's not organized. But for me, I hate stepping over stuff and, oh my gosh, something just fell down. What is that? You know what I'm saying? Did you eat? Yeah, none of that. But in the closet, it could look, just please don't let it be on the floor. That's it. And my husband is like, what are you teaching them? To put it in the closet so people don't see it. I don't see what's wrong with that. Don't
At the end of
do
the
it.
day, I'm telling you, if that's the pattern that has been established, it's going to be an act of God to get rid of it when they're older. Because to me, it's the development of I just don't care. They can be great out in the world. My sister's an excellent nurse. She gets high marks all the time, but I feel like you put so much energy into assisting and being great out in the world, but then when you come home, you just are so tired, you just give it all up.
Yeah.
And I think you should more so do the opposite, but then again, everything is like a balance.
A balance.
And a dance.
Okay.
When you come home, and like I remember just last year when I was at her place and she had like a brunch. We all can cook, no problem. She invited family and some friends over, and she's one of the people, she wants to invite everyone over. However, she doesn't think of the logistics of what all it takes. You know, it's like she's always cutting her time short, and then I'm the type of person, I don't want to work in a messy environment because it just bothers my nerves. You know, I like things to be orderly. I like to clean the kitchen as I go. If I'm cooking, okay, I have 2 pots on the side of the sink. I need to wash them.
Now, did you learn that? What age did you learn that? Because that's something that I'm working on now with my, because I can't do that either. Like, I have to clean the kitchen as I go. What age did you
I
learn
was
that? 'Cause
probably around 7 or 8.
you were 7? See, we learned
I
ours a
asked
little
my
later.
mom for an easy bake oven. I remember it clearly. You can tell the
Ooh,
story
easy
and laugh
bake.
about it all the time. I asked
Did you
her
have
for
the
an
pink
easy
one or the
bake
white one?
oven.
Did you have the
And
white
she
one?
said,
Did you have the white one or the pink one?
I never got it until you was
Oh, you didn't get it?
I
Okay.
asked for it, easy bake oven, and she said, well, I don't know why you would want that when you have a real one over there. And she pointed at, you know, the real stove, so when I looked at the stove, I was like, oh, okay. So from there, she started teaching me, and all of us, my brother included. He's a guy, people would think, oh, he's a guy, let his mom cook. No, she was like, you're gonna learn how to cook as well because you're not gonna wait on a woman to cook for you. And if you never get married, you know how to cook for yourself. So everything the girls that some men would traditionally believe would be just for women alone, no, not in my household. It applied all across the board. You had to learn how to clean, cook, take care of your room, everything. So I was about, I would say 7 or 8 when I cooked my first meal, which was I think pork chops and fried pork chops, and I ate like a rice and peas or
Good for
something.
you.
But it's all in how you, and my mom was a single mom, but we grew up, like I said, next to my dad's parents. So it was like, I feel like a great situation where I kind of call it the tale of 2 cities in a way, where we lived the country mouse life, but then we had my mom's mom who lived over in the city. So we would go there for the summer, and whereas we could walk outside barefoot if we wanted to.
So
My
you guys
grandparents-
had, we talked about freedom before you came
yeah,
in.
we had freedom to
So you
ride
guys
our
had
bike, even though I say today I laugh about it. I said, Mom, I think you and Grandma, which is my paternal grandma, I think y'all were a little sexist. And she was like, why you say that? I'm like, because y'all allow for my brother to go outside of the fence and ride, you know, he would go outside of our fence and turn around on his bike and come back in, whereas us girls, we had to stop at the fence. But one day, I was like, outside playing with my brother, and I remember a car was coming, and he dropped his bike on the other side of the road, and he ran into the gate. You know, because I guess he was afraid that a car was coming. And I was like, why didn't he just turn around on his bike and come back? You know, but again, you know,
That's interesting. So a little bit more stream for boys.
Yeah.
But that's been like that, I think,
for a long time.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Where you were,
Yeah. So I'm a little opposite.
Okay.
And I want to challenge us to think about the way, because I wasn't a neat person. I'm very neat now. My house is clean. But I want to challenge us to think about when we raise children. Is it, like, are they a good human at the end of the day? Like, we all have our things that help them clean up or be organized. And that's the things that work for us in our own household. But when you have people who grow up and they're different, I don't know. It's like the things that we normally do at our house, at our traditions, right? But are they good? Do they have moral character? Do they know right from wrong and how to, are they out here duping people? Do they know how to, I mean, we teach them lessons, right, of what we want them to know, but the main thing is, are they a good person?
Right.
Right. So they can be like super neat, keep the room clean, know how to cook a 5-course meal, and be a horrible person. And we don't want that. We don't want that.
That's the most important
Yes.
thing.
It would be great if they could do all of the things and be a great human being. But the most important thing is that they are loving to themselves
Yeah.
and loving to
A lot of
others.
grace.
Respectful.
Yes. Yeah.
And respect.
And respect.
But if they're not one day, and you feel like you've done all that you can for them, would you be okay to say, oh man, I tried my best, but this is how they turned out?
My Because it's not loving? Is that what you mean?
Well, like you said, but they clean their room, they keep a clean house, you know, but they're just a really mean person. And that wasn't nothing, you know, necessarily how you raised them.
Yeah.
But like lessons that has come through, or who knows, you know, this is total hypothetical. You know, of course we would all want our children to be the best, you know,
Right.
but my 5-year-old is mean, you know.
But is
But
it?
she's sweet too.
But is it because
so.
she's fine? I mean, my daughter went through that stage of where I thought I had the devil at one time.
Well, not that far.
Well, I mean, well, when I say me, well, okay, because it was always a counter. Like, oh my gosh, everything I say, here she comes. I tell her to do something, she would look at me like, you know, with those eyes. And you know, at that time, I was spanking her. I think I spanked her like 12 times in one day. Because, and then that's when I stopped. I was like, am I angry at her or am I angry at me? Because I'm not spending the time with her to teach her the thing. There was something that I had told this guy. He wanted to potty train his daughter. And he was like, she doesn't listen to me. She doesn't do any of these things. We want her to use the potty. And I said, well, how old is it? She 2. I said, did you talk to her and ask her why she doesn't want to potty train? And he says, no. What is a 2-year-old going to tell me? She's going to tell you why, right? And then I said, so are you spending the time to teach her to use it? He says, no, we have a lot going on. So whose problem is that? Is it the 2-year-olds or is it my problem? So what I was saying is, with my daughter being mean, I had to show her that to not, because I was being mean to her, right? And she was just showing me how to be mean to me, in the mirror thing. But as we got older and I got to understand her, not your situation, but I was just saying, do you think that's just because she's that age? And then, but now she's to her brothers, but she is one of the sweetest people. Like, she cooked for us this morning, and she'll do that type of thing. And when my son fell on the floor, she was the first one holding the bandage to him and want to know what's going on. But that was because I think as she got older, when I showed her me more, I wasn't like always enraged, because it's really easy to do that when all 3 of your kids you're tired. All of them are toddlers. All 3 of mine were toddlers together. But I know, right? No, right? So, is it like, is that something? Is you think that she's going to?
No, I think she'll be all right. But right
Yeah.
now, she's still in her stages.
Yeah.
And her temperament is, she gets in her mind that she's been, done wrong or didn't get what she wanted or whatever. She won't cry like tears coming down. She'll hold it in and she'll have this like, it's okay, you can put those tears on, it's fine, you can be mad, But
That's great.
she's in pre-K4 and last year I got that principal call, she was in the principal's office.
Mhm.
She was doing what she was supposed to be doing kind of thing, so. I think she'll grow out of it,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah.
When they let the system, isn't it also teaching them that a way for them to be independent and make decisions and be strong-willed? Because we're so used to this Southern, and I try to get out of this Southern. Yes, I'll do everything people please.
Yes,
Now,
that's
can
good.
she be just exploring who she is?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, I want to say, like, on that note, I have my son is like that, and I don't know if it was the Southern hospitality thing and me being a people pleaser or not, but when he is a very loving person. I remember that we're like onions; we have lots of layers, right? So he has so much love for his friends and for his family, but if he don't want to hug somebody, I don't want to say happy birthday to you. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. So, like those types of things. And then he can be a little bit mean. I think it's more of him just being direct and just saying, this is what I think right now, and this is how I feel, and I'm expressing it. And we taught our kids to express themselves and not do things because people want them to do things. But if I am not in that space, feel like hugging you or saying hello. And I mean, I think there's a fine line between being polite and just, because you know, like sometimes we just need to do stuff. But he's learning. He's learning to just own his space and do him.
But do you explain to him, like, okay, so you're being mean right now, and you could do it a little better, or, you know, if you can just walk away, you don't have to be nasty or negative or, you know, rude, you know, you can politely do something else. And so do you teach him that? Because that's also, I think, lessons that they have to learn, you know, what is mean? What is being mean?
Yeah.
You know, what is being honest? What is being truthful when, you know, when you're talking to, say, other kids? You know,
So do you say don't go to the birthday party if you're not gonna sing happy birthday? Because it's seen as you're being mean. I don't know. Like, how would you?
Yeah. So for a birthday party, you know, did they want to go? Did he want to go to the birthday party in the first place? Like, did you just force him to go?
And it was a virtual thing. So, and he doesn't like taking pictures. He doesn't like being on camera. So he was just like, I don't want to get on here. Everybody was getting on, and they were saying happy birthday, and you know, saying positive things or you know, encouraging things to the birthday girl. And he was just like, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like doing that. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be on camera. I don't feel like saying happy birthday. That sort of thing. And we just had to let it go. So yeah, but I mean, at a birthday party, he always wants to go to birthday parties because there's cake and there's fun stuff to do. But yeah, but he doesn't want to take pictures. His dad, he's like, you need to do that picture. Get over there and take the picture. And I mean, my dad was the same way, so I get it. I love pictures. You know, there's my camera. I'm the picture taker in my family for all occasions. And so I want to have a documentation of different events. So I want my kids to be in the picture, and I want them to smile. And if he gets in the picture, he's like, or he makes like a silly face. He won't smile. He's like, this is how I'm feeling. But
Did you get mad at that, or is that okay?
I get frustrated, but I'm just like, whatever. That's just it. Yeah. I mean, it's who he is. So at least he got in the picture, and at least he, you know.
Captured it.
Yeah. We have a lot of crazy pictures.
Yeah. See, I have the opposite party. My kids go to other kids' party that we don't even know. They come back with party favors. We go to the park. They all let somebody else. That's happened so many times. And they were like, Mom, we're going to eat cake. Cake from where? We're like in the park. Like, where did you get this cake from? And they're like, oh, it's a party over there. And you just walked over there. They're happy, man. I'm like, I don't have to get them to stop. But I always explain, if you're going to a place, I'm just saying this in an adult way. If you're gonna go to a party and it's a drinking party, you're expected to drink. If you're gonna go to a birthday party, you're expected to say happy birthday. And if you don't want to do that, then you need to rethink why you want to go. That's just it. Like, if you know this is going to be where they play games, but you just, I don't want to do none of that, then you don't need to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just take you, but I would call them and say she's just not ready. Doesn't want to come to that. Or you tell them, actually you tell them. You know, especially, you know, with my daughter's age. You know, I need you to be able to get into, to explain yourself or not, or whatever. But if this is what we're doing, and this is it, then you're supposed. It's not that you're okay to have your opinion, but if this is what we're doing, this is what you're expecting, this is what you're gonna do, right? Because ain't nobody gonna invite you nowhere. You come in here and not sit there.
You don't talk to anybody. You just eat the cake.
Yeah,
You stand in the corner frowning.
Them people who didn't dance at the party back in the day, what you said when it was time, man, he ain't coming. All he wanted to do was hold up the wall. You know what I'm saying? No, yep, same thing. So we're gonna start bringing this to a close, and by that we're gonna look at a few mom philosophies that you guys wrote down. We always talk about that on Black Mom's Diary, and we like to share because we can all learn something from everyone. Like, I've learned a lot, even from, you know, people who don't have children, because it's a different perspective when you're in it. You know, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes you can't even see that. Sometimes you were a child at one time, and they're just doing kid stuff. You know. So what's our first mom philosophy, Patricia?
Okay, so I have, and if I read yours and you want to expound on it, feel free. It says, I'm in charge. And it has a smiley face next to it.
That's like, I'm not even apologizing. Not even apologizing, you're in charge.
That was me.
Yeah. And I get that. Like, I would do whatever you say to. Not because it's just because you have that about you. It's like, I want to follow what we're doing today. You know, okay, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't your kids listen? Because I listen. You know?
Yes, because, you know, 7 and 5, boy and girl, and they will give me the look, you know, ask me about time, and I had to shut them down, you know, what'd I say? Like, what did I say? But, here, go away, you know. Hammer down, you know, like there's no room for, not right now, you know, because all that's going to come. So I could be saying something, no, I will never say something different as far as I'm in charge, but to help them get through wherever they want to do, or if they're asking me something, whatever, you know. If it's not a go, then it's not a go, you know, and stop asking me.
Good.
So,
Like it. You are in charge.
I am in charge.
You got that. What's the next one?
The next one it says leaving, is it learning? Learning into modifying adult activities to toddler, infant friendly activities, i.e. travel, outdoor concerts, etc.
Okay.
That would be me.
Okay.
I'm a mom in training,
Okay.
so 3 more months, and then I'm an official mom across.
You're a mom already. You're a mom. You're feeding that baby already.
You're a mother.
So I have a great OB, a great doula, and pretty much it's just leaning into the baby and you are going places. If that's farmer's market, maybe you're modifying activities, but that pregnancy is supposed to be just a life experience and not stopping those experiences. So I went to dance class, like a real, I was the only pregnant person in it, not a prenatal, still twerking.
Yes.
So really leaning into that, and then after, when I'm talking about postpartum with my doula, she's like, you got a month. And then after that month, you're outside, you should be walking, and not really having your life stop for the baby, but having the baby lean into the different things that you like doing. So obviously not skydiving, but I know that when I grew up going to church service, for example, it was you're there, but you're an inconvenience for being in the adult church service. So don't talk, don't be seen, like don't ask for food, and so really, how can you accommodate to have a little human do some of those same activities or experiences?
That's really good. I wish I would have thought about that because I thought my whole life stopped when I had children. And it did, but that's really good. I'm glad you having that experience.
Oh yeah, from month 1 to month 4, I was like, oh, I can't do anything. And it got lonely real fast.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to say that for my first one, I think we stayed in the house for so long because we were so nervous. Because the weekend, I had him on a Wednesday and I had an emergency C-section. So we were in the hospital till Friday. So Sunday, we were at church. And it was like a big Christmas celebration because he was born in December. And then we were like, okay, we're not doing that. But for my daughter, my son he was going to be 2. And so I was like, I'm not going to be in the house with a toddler. He needs to be out. He needs to have fun. So I wore her. I wish I would have worn my son more. I didn't wear him as much as I wore my daughter. But I always had her here, not so much on my back, back, but just here, and we were out. We were walking, we were at the park, we were going to stores, just because I was like, I gotta get out of the house, and he needs to get out. I was flipping tires when I was pregnant with my son. My daughter was a different story. So.
Is this one of the lives that you're talking about? Like flipping tire lives? Is this what?
No, I was pregnant with flipping tires. That was another life.
You're
Another
on
life.
my team for CrossFit.
I will do it.
Give grace to yourself and others. That's great. I like that one. Oh, that was you?
Yeah, I think for myself, I don't give myself enough grace, and it has to do with just, I was raised really old school. So I know some of y'all, and we've had conversations about that, and some of y'all met my aunt that raised me, and she was hardcore. She was loving, but she didn't really show that love. So being a mom, with her it was like this, and this, and there's no time for anything in between because we're like this. And so that's how I was for a long time. And when we were not on the schedule, I would get so angry. I would get angry with myself. I would get angry with my kids. And I had to learn that this time is so precious, and I'm never going to get this time back. So what if my daughter wants to hug me an extra 5 minutes? We'll get out of the house, and if we're a little bit late, it's going to be okay. But I may not always have this. Like you said, there might be a time when she don't want to hug me anymore, And I mean, I hope not. I hope she will always want to hug me. But when our kids, they get older, they move away, and so I just have to remember that it's okay. It's okay if I'm running a little bit behind, and it's okay if other people are too, because I don't know what their running look like. So it's just really important for me to give myself grace as a mom and give other people grace as a mom. And I just want to say one other thing. I think that so many times we all are different as moms. We do what works for us, and we do what works for our families. And that's another way that I think it's important to give grace, because I'm in a lot of different mom groups, and there is very little support. There's a lot of bullying, and there's a lot of mom shaming, and it shouldn't be like that. I mean, some moms, I know there was this one group where this mom, she killed her kid, so that's like an extreme case. But for the most part, I don't think she's a good
Oh,
I think she got kicked out. She got kicked out. But I mean, that's an extreme case.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What kind of group is this?
It's a mom group. But I think for the most part, we just, as moms, we want to know that we're doing the best that we can, and we want to feel like we're not alone in this mom game. And so it's just really important that we just support one another and give each other grace.
I didn't write mine down, but it is, just don't apologize. Because like I say, I know my children, and I'm not hurting them. I'm not going to apologize to you if you're uncomfortable, and I don't know why. I know it became a lot when we were breastfeeding, and I'm like, sorry, my baby's hungry. This is food, and you don't see no nipples, you don't see nothing. So why are you uncomfortable? I'm uncomfortable because you're staring at me. Go get him over here. But I don't apologize for, if I'm learning, but I don't apologize for the things that I do with my children for anybody, Communication and listening. If the child feels not heard, they will shut down. That's another one. Communication and listening. And then the other one is discipline. Don't sweat the small stuff. Bottom line question, are they a good human? Who wrote that? I mean. Awesome advice. And that's what we created. Patricia, I'm just over here on the side.
You're right here with me, girl.
That's why we created it in Black Mom's Diary, because it is a difference in how we parent because of how we were raised. And most of us have a lot of the same similar stories, I hear. you know, and sometimes we just want to know, are we crazy? Is something going on? Am I looking at this differently? You know, so I'm very grateful that you guys came out today and the support that you showed. This is our first event, and there will be more. But I am just sitting in a place of gratitude to see you ladies here, and even the ones who said they were not going to talk. Yeah, they were like, let me hold it. But that's what it is. It's to make you feel comfortable so that you can share and you can talk about these things. And I just want to say thank you guys for coming out. Thank you.
Well, we're just gonna close it out like we always do. So, you know, and okay, well, until next time, you know, thank y'all again for being here. Thank you guys for being here live, and thank you guys that are watching, that will watch. But until next time, I'm Patricia.
And I am LaTanya.
And thank you so much for listening to the Black Mom Diary.